Good morning, good morning. Sorry about that technical issue. I'm gonna begin asking people to join our meeting now after this hiccup. Thank you for your patience and for being here. Okay, so I begin to get the main players here. Good morning, everyone.
Hi, Iola. Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry about that. It was not what we were expecting.
For 10 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
You look very nice. Are you at home?
yes, I am.
Wow, it's beautiful.
Okay, Curtis, what do you think? Should we begin right now or wait for more people? I think we should begin. It's already half hour late.
It's kind of late.
Well, we had Magella and Eric. Okay, I see Eric.
Yes, hi, Eric.
Magella.
Magella is here as well. I would say let's begin, and hopefully people will trickle in if they didn't just give up on the meeting.
Okay. I'll just text Irene quickly.
Thank you. So those of you who are here, thank you very much. I appreciate your presence and your patience and your persistence. We'll make sure that this doesn't happen again. I think it's going to be something that we can solve easily. It was just the first time, and so now we know how to fix it if it happens again. So let's begin really quickly. Luckily, in that sense, luckily there are just a few people right now. So do you want to please introduce yourselves, and then we'll begin with the agenda of the meeting. Curtis, do you want to begin?
Yeah, I'm Curtis Flowers. I'm a RTV gardener and a BQLT board member starting my second year, still learning the ropes. Yeah, so I like the operations committee. I've done some stuff with the grants committee and property management committee, but I like the ops committee because get to meet all the gardeners and visit as many gardens as we can. So my email is curtis@bqlt.org. I'll put it in the chat. And if there's ever anything you need, you can absolutely please let me know.
Iola, do you want to go next?
Yes, I'm Iola, one of the members of RTV, Community Gardening, part of the leadership team there. And I've been in the garden for many, many years. And I'll be looking forward to sharing today.
Thank you very much. Hazel, do you want to go next?
Good morning. I'm from 1100 Block Bergen Street Community Garden. I'm here in the meeting today to go forward with all our ideas.
Thank you.
Nice.
Eric.
Got on mute. I'm from Hollenbach Community Garden. I've been there for this is my third season now with them, and I've been second year as a BQLT rep, and looking forward to putting some plants in the ground. That's it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Princess, do you want to go next?
Yeah, yes. Sorry.
No problem.
My iPod was just saying low battery. Hi, good morning. My name is Princess Ben. I'm from Mama D's Garden. I've been around for a while, and I hope the pandemic is behind us and we can continue planting and
Amen.
utilize the space and open the space for everybody to enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't know your name, or whoever is named Diagnostic iPhone. You want to go next? You're muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm with Rogers Tilden, Veronica Place Community Garden. I've been with the garden for quite a few years now. And so I'm looking forward to learn more from this meeting today.
Amazing, thank you. Iris, do you want to go next? I see you are at the garden, or at least outside. And you're muted.
All right, how about that?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good morning, Alonzo. I'm not sure. What was the question?
Oh, we're just introducing ourselves.
Oh, okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Iris Harvell, and I'm from the Central Bainbridge Street Community Garden. And we're located on the corner of Patchen and Avenue and Bainbridge Street in Central Brooklyn. We're doing more of our cleanup today. And even though it's really, really windy, we've got 4 members here. And let's see, we got a big tree of clips that we're trying to put out. I don't know if you can see. Can you see that?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So we've been doing some weeding, and we're going to clear out. And started some seeds. So we've got a lot of work to do.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Irene, do you want to go next?
I'm Irene Van Slyke with the David Fulker Community Garden. I'm trying to, what else to say?
You are the heartbeat of BQLT, I think.
Oh, thank you.
I would agree.
Majela, do you want to go next?
Hi, good morning. I'm Majella Payne. I'm from the Classen Fulton Gates Community Garden. And I'm just so jealous of that picture of the garden of the last person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Iris's garden, amazing.
All those wood chips, right?
Right. Yeah.
Those are great.
Thank you. And Lydia, if you're there, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, I'm Lydia. I'm here. I'm just like taking care of this crazy dog,
Oh, wow.
so I have my video off, so it's not distracting. Yeah, I'm part of the Classen Fulgate Garden as well. It's my second year being a member and my first year being a BQLT rep. So it's really nice to meet you all, and I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And we have someone trying to connect in audio. I don't know the name, and I don't know if you can hear us. My guess is not, because it's not the full connection. Okay. Oh, Ashley, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear.
No, but Ashley, I don't know if she can hear us. Okay. Oh, and I didn't introduce myself. I am Alonso Cordova. I am part of the operations committee at BQLT. I've been here for about a year, but I feel like I don't know anything yet. I'm learning the ropes, just as Curtis. And I am a volunteer at Kew Gardens in Brooklyn. And I'm really looking forward to being able to get back there and doing a lot of composing, which is what I usually help with. So I think we can begin now. We have a very simple agenda this time around, and we are going to have a presentation from Iola about RTV. And yes, we're looking forward to that, Iola. And are you ready? Anything that you need?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. Thank you.
Oh,
You
good
have the
morning,
floor.
everybody.
Morning.
Iola from RTV. Been in the garden from the time it started. And I just wanted to share, over the years I've been in the garden, it has been more than a garden to the community. We're located at Tilden, 2601, 2603 Tilden Avenue, between Rogers and Veronica. And our garden is, like most gardens, very special. We encompass several schools, shelters, churches, and each one have had some time in our garden. And one of the things that about RTV is one of the largest garden and green spots in that area. So we actually, are part of many, many people's lives there. And one of the things we have done over the years is partner with so many organizations that do service in that community. Our Arthur Ashe Foundation just at one point would do health fairs there. We partnered with YMCA on the summer, during the summer months. We have children that come in and we show them gardening, talk about food and whatnot. And for the last, I would say 3 years, we have partnered with Erasmus High School, the culinary department. We have had interns for the last 3 years. And that's been a very learning process for not only us, but also them. And RTV has started the first garden at Erasmus for the culinary department. Another thing, our garden has always been sort of the conversation piece for the community, as well as a place where everybody from that community come and look for information about everything. Health issues, places they need to go, housing, babysitting service. RTV has done it all. We honored the fire department and the police department during 9/11. And Sandy, even though we weren't affected, we was also a part of taking care of some of the dislocated families during that hurricane. And our members and the community come together and we were able to not only feed them, but RTV had a place for the children to come until they was relocated back to a normal space. We have had so many new things coming into the garden, new people. And one of the things, I'll fast forward to the pandemic, even though it was sort of a bump in the road for us, but it gave us the opportunity to reorganize. And in reorganizing, we also was able to set up a leadership team that allowed us to still bring the community together and have the community be a part of the garden, because that was the issue at one time. We was worried that because of the pandemic and the safety issues that we wouldn't be able to allow the community to be a part of it. But the leadership team come up with an idea that was very, very, very good, we think. of having projects that would allow us to still filter to the community. We did a food drive. We also did a winter garden, which I have slides and pictures to show, and also our compost system. And that was a very great idea. Sanitation department wasn't able to pick up compost, so our garden decided to open it up to the community. And with that done, it allowed us not only to have the community being a part of it, we also was able to get volunteers as well as new members during that time. So I would like to share some slides with you guys to show how our garden is. This is our mirror.
All right, that looks wonderful.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
This is one of the concerts we had. We've had many, many affairs there, many events. This is some of the concerts that we had on this, actually a lot year before, 2019. Another.
How did you find the artist to do the concert?
You guys, Brooklyn Land Trust.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I think it's the Haitian Cultural Exchange.
Right, the whole,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. There's volunteers. This is another event we had. And also the bicycle startup.
The bicycle tour, yeah.
Right, the bicycle tour. This is our winter garden that we had this year.
I love that bicycle tour when I went there.
You weren't there?
Oh, you see. Okay.
So when you have a winter garden, when do you start that?
And we started in December. And we used the snow that during December to water our garden. This is the YMCA we partner with during the summer months. The kids came twice a week. This is the interns we had from Erasmus.
Do the teachers come with the kids or?
They come over once in a while, but mostly themselves. This is our toy drive for December 2020 for the shelter below us.
Yeah, that was nice.
Iola, this is Ijeoma. Did you want me to say anything?
Yes, 1 minute, yes.
Okay.
These are some of the volunteers for the food drive.
Oh, it's a nice group. Wow, a lot of people.
This is part of our garden.
Nice bitch. Yeah.
Ijeoma, could you explain our new projects?
Hi, everyone. So my name is Ijeoma Achonu. I'm on the leadership team at RTV Community Garden. So as Iola mentioned last year, it was kind of hard for us to figure out how we could be part of the community during that time, and trying to also get new members or volunteers safely. Due to the pandemic and everything being closed, I feel like, people actually noticed the garden a lot more than what they usually had before. So we had an influx of new people. However, that made us realize that we had to get a little bit more organized. So that's what we focused on last year, and actually separating our communications and different lists to house volunteers versus members. So then we weren't over communicating to people who didn't necessarily want to be part of a garden, or in that capacity just want to help out sometimes. But then that was also easier for us. So then when we're planning projects in the future, we know that we have these dedicated members who could possibly be a part of it or help contribute ideas for projects. And then we have volunteers that we could reach out to who, if they have spare time, can help us actually complete those projects, which is why the toy and food drive that we had in December was so successful, because we had members who created the project, had the idea for the project and executed it, and figured out how to get toys and supplies. And then we had volunteers who were more than helpful to come with manpower to help us pack the boxes and actually distribute it to the Tilden the Tilden Hall Family Shelter. That's actually a block away from the garden. So with that, we were able to get food and toys to over 117 kids. Actually, it was 176, sorry, because we gave toys from children ages 3 to 18, which usually, they have other toy drives and stuff like that, but usually they just stop at age 12. So the older kids don't, get anything, but that's what we actually wanted to accomplish. So on the heels of that, and just the organization and figuring out who we have as, far as our members and our volunteers, we're actually starting to partner with more local organizations to use the garden space for events. And then also looking within our team, or our members, I should say, who have skills or, any type of, offerings that they would like to, provide for the community. Our mission this year is to just do a lot more community events, and also focusing on kids, because we have a lot of kids in the neighborhood, especially in the family shelters and stuff like that. You have a lot of kids who haven't been in school for a long time. They don't really have a place to interact with other children. With doing workshops and stuff like that, planting for kids. We're also planning to do family yoga during the week. And that's with a local organization that we're still in the works with partnering with. And then even yoga on weekends taught by some of our members, because we have some yoga teachers in there. And then most likely maybe a concert series with an artist, a Haitian artist, but this is outside of the BQLT. But a lot of that is still in the works. We're also still going to have our interns from Erasmus. However, they aren't going to be physically in the garden. So we have a lot going on for the summer. And then we also could possibly have more projects coming from within, from our new group of members that we're getting in continuously. So we will keep everyone updated when we have actual dates about events and functions. And if you guys could share it, because we would love to get, more people out. And we're just really excited because what we're lucky to have is a lot of space. So we can have people in the garden and safely do different activities.
Excellent. Thank you very much. That was amazing. Such a beautiful garden. Do we have any questions for Iola and Ijeoma?
Hi, this is Kim from Euclid Pine. Which school from Erasmus are you working with?
The culinary department.
Okay, the Culinary Arts College Prep?
Yes.
Or hospitality and tourism? Okay.
No, culinary, food.
Okay, so that's hospitality and tourism, that school in the building.
Okay, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks.
How many members do you have, more or less? It seems like it's a lot, but
I think we have what? Curtis, you know, I think about 15 or more.
We
Okay.
have about 15 members, and then signed up on our volunteer list, we have 21 volunteers.
excellent, thank you. Do you have any kind of a formal process to become a member, or is it just whoever comes in is the member in the garden?
So right now, we've actually changed the process of being a member or volunteer for the garden. So first step, even if you want to be a member or a volunteer, you just fill out an application. We created a Google form, and it just has some, general questions, just asking, for like your name, your email. But, also, do you want to be a member or volunteer? What interests do you have in the garden? Do you bring anything to the garden as far as skills? How long have you been interested in the garden? And do you have any other skills outside gardening? Because to actually run the garden, from what we said, we need a lot of administrative work on the back end. And then even trying to kind of like, make the garden more accessible for this generation, we do need some tech help. So even things like creating like a website, we definitely need help on, but we like created an Instagram page, which also helps us to gain new members, but also volunteers. And then some of the volunteers come with other skills that can help us. Like, for example, someone's going to school for accounting. So, maybe they can help with like treasury duties, like in their spare time. So after you fill out the application, then we have an interview. And then the interview is just basically just to review the questions, get to know you, have some visibility from the leadership team. Because I think before, what we just had was that somebody said they wanted to join, but then, no one really met them. So they weren't really like seeing anyone, or we had a lot of members that a lot of people, they had no idea who anyone was. So we wanted to make it like, easier so that we could actually get to know the person before we invite them in.
Excellent, thank you very much. That's very thorough and very impressive. Thank you.
What do you consider being a member?
So considering a member is someone who is going to contribute 12 to 15 hours minimum monthly, and then also to pay dues. So that's the minimum for our membership. That's why we also created the volunteer list, because there are some people who can't give that amount of time, and then they might not necessarily want to pay the dues. So we gave that option. But we were looking, the issue that we had in the past is that anyone who came in was a member, but then a lot of those people weren't actually doing any work, or, we would never see them again. So we just wanted to give people the option to have some flexibility, and they didn't feel pressure to like, you can only be part of the garden if you're going to contribute to this. But we also make people aware that, if the gate is open, that they're welcome to come in. It's not necessarily like you have to be a volunteer or a member. If you just want to come in and sit down, if you want to, you're welcome to. But if you'd like to become a member, then, you can actually make an impact of what we do in the garden. If you want to be a volunteer, you could just help us out whenever you're available.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you keep your gate open at all times, or for visitors just wandering, or is it really only when there's a garden member or volunteer present?
Right now, because of our neighborhood, it has to be only if a garden member or like a volunteer or someone is present. Unfortunately, we have like a lot of break-ins and vandalism in our neighborhood. And then we're also surrounded by two different garages that are very active, with a lot of people necessarily coming in and out of the neighborhood. We're also on a very active street, because you could walk through Tilden to get to Flatbush and stuff like that. There's a lot of activity in the area. So we just aren't able to leave the gate open like that safely. But what we're trying to work on, especially with getting more members, is to have like open garden hours. Right now, on Saturdays between 10 and 12, we're definitely open. Sometimes it could go to 3. But being open during the week is still a little bit tricky because we have a lot of people who work full-time jobs. So we're really hoping that we can, dig into our membership or even our volunteers to have more open garden hours, especially during the week. But we can't leave our gate open. It's just not safe for our neighborhood, unfortunately.
Well, what kind of you mentioned something about organizations, partnering with organizations for them to use the space. What type of organizations are you typically working with for that?
Right now, we are in planning with a local organization called Little Caribbean. They are a nonprofit actually under another nonprofit called Caribbean, which basically they've been around for 10 plus years now, really focusing on promotion of Caribbean art and culture. Little Caribbean is actually the organization that designated our area where our garden is as Little Caribbean. So if you come to Flatbush and even in East Flatbush, that area has been designated the Little Caribbean. And that's just kind of a nod to the Caribbean people who are basically in the neighborhood. So with them, they do a lot of different events. They partner with a lot of organizations like hospitals and stuff like that, Uber, Lyft, like different artists and stuff. So we are partnering with them to have events in the garden to actually bring awareness to the garden, which a lot of people come by and they're like, we didn't even know this place was here. They also help us a lot with social media. They give us a lot of exposure, which is how we got a lot more of our volunteers and, some more members. Once again, that was a lot of people saying that they didn't even know that the garden was there. So it's just been really great exposure to have that in there. The way that partnership actually came up is, at the time when we were working on the fundraiser for the food and toy drive in December, and, we were advertising to try and get donations and stuff, I actually happened to meet the creator of the nonprofit. So from there, they made like huge donation. We spoke with them, our missions aligned because they just want to improve the neighborhood and have, a lot more events for the people in the community. We just thought it as a really good way to partner with that. Also have a partner with bringing in more people from the community because they have like a larger following and to kind of get that exposure and to let people know that we're there. But also for us too, it kind of helps with the events that maybe we can get like much needed donations for the garden. And, even though we can do grants and stuff like that, we realized after doing that food and toy drive last year, it cost us about $3,000 for us to put that on. We probably made $1,000 in donations, but then the other additional $1,000 came from members in the garden. So, if we want to continue to do more community-based events like that, like we need funds. And then as well, we need funds to, manage and maintain the garden and, pay for what we need to pay for. So we're looking to the partnership to kind of help bridge that gap so we can complete our mission.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ijeoma. It was amazing. Thank you. And thank you, Iola, as well.
Thank you.
Nice job.
So I would like to make a quick pause. There are two people who have not introduced themselves. Actually three, and I was wondering if you could do it. Kim.
Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Kim from Euclid Pine.
Excellent, thank you. And Ashley.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley, a new board member, and I'm also involved with Macintosh Garden in East Elmhurst, Queens.
Thank you very much. And finally, we have our new president, Stephen.
Hi, I'm Stephen Thompson. I'm a member at 1100 Bergen with Hazel. And it's great to be here on the first day of May. And I love that tour of RTV just now. It's a really great way to start the month.
Welcome, Stephen.
Thank you, everyone.
And welcome, Ashley, too. Okay, so in lieu of the next presentation, what I'm going to have is a mini presentation by somebody, a volunteer who cannot be here today because she's already working with beehives at Kew Gardens. She's an arborist, she is a forester, and she has volunteer to be a consultant for BQLT or any of its gardens in terms of tree health and tree management. So I'm gonna play a video by her. It's very short, and then I'm gonna type her email address on the chat so anyone who can or who wants to contact her can do so. So just give me a second. If you can hear sound in a minute, let me know right away. I think it's set up so you can hear.
I'm not hearing anything.
You're not here.
So thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Let me double check on that.
Good morning, Hazel.
Good morning, Princess.
How are you this morning? Okay. Good morning, everyone. But it's just that Hazel like to bother me and I like to bother Hazel. It's a special thing.
Okay. That may be fun for us as well. Okay, let's try this out again and let me know if you can, or well, let me know if you can't hear.
No.
No song.
No.
Yeah.
We need to have, do we need an interpreter for sign language?
Maybe.
What if you unmute yourself? Does that affect it?
I'm sorry. So are you guys hearing the video?
No.
No.
Oh.
Nothing.
Okay, let me get started again. Everything's set up so it should work.
Is your volume turned up real like extra? Because somebody just mentioned of you playing it through your Zoom platform.
Yeah, I guess I could play it through the microphone, I guess.
Yeah,
Let's
your
see
audio.
if it works.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Brittany Wienke. I'm an arborist and a forester. I live in Sunset Park, Brooklyn, and I've been involved with Kew Gardens, which, as you know, is a BQLT garden, for a couple years now. And I'm very happy to be getting involved with you all at the operational level. I'm sorry I can't be here today in real time. Kew Gardens is installing their beehives today, and I'm coordinating the effort. So by the time you see this video, I will be on a roof in Flatbush, elbows deep in a beehive. So wish us luck. About 2 months ago, I attended an ops meeting and mentioned that I would be available to do some volunteer tree care or tree advisory work with the BQLT Gardens. Since then, a lot of my spare time has gone to setting up the beehives and like the bee effort for Kew Gardens. But as of this week, we're going to be transitioning to a more regular beekeeping schedule. So I'll have more time. And I wanted to reiterate that I want to be of service to the gardens of BQLT and help you all with any tree needs that you have. I have a couple ideas of what that might look like. For example, I could advise on pruning or host a pruning workshop. A workshop would have to take place in the fall. Unfortunately, it's too late right now to start any new pruning. The trees are well on their way to their season's growth, and we don't want to truncate that. So, that would have to be in the fall, but it's an idea. Another idea that I had would be to stop by your garden and sort of offer tree consulting services, whatever you would need. We could think about what kinds of species would work really well in your garden due to like shade or light conditions or soil conditions or the other plants that you have growing in your garden. Or we could just strategize generally about, trees you may want and not have, very open. And, these are just examples, right? Like if you have other ideas or your needs are different than what I've described, I'm very open and I want to hear what you need to do or what your garden's needs are. So please give me a shout. This is my email address. And I'd love to talk with you more about how I can help you with the trees in your garden. Thanks so much. Have a great day and a great weekend.
Can you please put her email in the chat?
Absolutely. I'm gonna do that in a second. So unfortunately, I cannot answer any questions about her. I haven't met her yet. We haven't talked, but hopefully the information is useful. I think that many of the gardeners can benefit from that knowledge. And it's going to be great having her as a consultant for BQLT as well, because we need to know about trees. I know, for instance, Eric has had questions about that at Hollenbeck, and we need a person like this. Yeah.
These two.
Exactly. So we definitely can use her services as a volunteer for Kew Gardens. Up next in the agenda, Curtis, you have a report on the Con Ed grant. Can you please update us on that?
Yeah, so that's going pretty well. I mean, our dream was, 30 gardens with solar power, but that's probably going to take a while. But yes, Anne and one of the new board members, Gazelle, they have been working on the grant. We're working with Solar One. They've recently sort of been in the news a lot, like the mayor's signed on to do some work with them. They just did a huge project at one of the housing facilities. I think it's in Queens, where they brought solar power to the whole complex, which is pretty amazing. So of course, gardens would be a little bit smaller scale. But yeah, they have a pre-existing relationship with Con Ed that this is not going to interfere with. And there will be some community education, some chances to learn how the solar power works. They'll come in, provide it, and it's pretty expensive as far as BQLT spending goes. But we're working on the first 3 gardens, the grant for the first 3 gardens, possibly a 4th garden. And they have sponsors. Should this grant not work out, they're like, we have other sponsors we can bring your proposal to. We don't think it's going to be a huge problem. So yeah, we're excited. We're about to just submit it. They want to check the language. Then we'll pull the trigger. These grants move pretty quickly, and on the off chance they just fall in love with it, the grant could be up to $99,000. So yeah, we're excited. I know Kew Gardens uses their solar station to power any type of equipment that they can run on electric power. It's been popular as a phone charging station. I think people even are able to borrow it for things they do outside of the garden. EJ, I see your question. Well, I think that Irene identified a couple of gardens that were in particular need, either for security or, well, I think that might be a big part of it. I think you probably know that some gardens have different problems that like dumping, and so part of it is a security measure and part of it will just enhance the community and what people are able to do there. I guess the phone charging station is quite a hit.
Yeah, if I can add a little bit to that. I think that we were, the grant said that if you had a relationship with a school, and I know RTV does as well. So it sort of depends on how much money we get. How many gardens we can include. And the other news is that the grants committee for 3 years in a row applied for a tree care grant from the state of New York, and we were always turned down. But yesterday we found out that we actually got the grant. So gardens with tree issues, pruning, you want workshops, I think all of that can be included in this grant. We haven't issued a budget yet, so we will probably contact all the gardens to find out what kind of needs there are in your garden in terms of trees. And by the way, I think that to get a solar panel set up for your garden is $5,000. So it's not cheap. And that would be mounted on a piece of wood and would be a permanent structure in your garden. There's also another way that you could have it, I think, on a moving kind of, it's not a truck, but something you can move around for security, that you would put it in your shed. And then, of course, when people are in the garden, you would want to take it out and put it in the sun to charge the batteries. So those are the two possibilities of getting a solar panel in your garden.
So what about it going in so for gardens that there are gazebos? Because I think that is something I've been talking about in a long time in Mama D's, like putting something like that on top of the gazebos. Isn't that possible? One of the options too.
I assume so. We still, first of all, we have to apply for the grant, and when you get it, we would work with Solar One to find out if that's possible and what the cost would be.
Yeah, and it's also like, I think they build the structure, honestly. I mean, the gazebo would have to be structurally sound, which.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
But because why I said that, and I think it has been a concern, we have a shelter in our neighborhood. And funny, just before I joined on, I was in the garden. And I was like, and I was telling somebody came in and we were talking, and I was saying, that is something I would like, because there's a lot of trees on the block, on St. Mark's, and in the garden that created shade. And people from the shelter hang around there. And I was saying to the young girl, I would like us to get something like solar panel or some kind of light that when people pass, it creates a floodlight. Because I'm a grandmother with a young granddaughter. I wouldn't like anything to happen to any young lady passing by our garden, when garden's supposed to be a place of safety. And it's funny, we're having this conversation, and I had this conversation in Mama D's this morning with a young lady of
Absolutely.
Creating some, because if for some reason the men from the shelter, they find themselves over by Mama D's, because we have, when we put that thing out there to people to sit on, we wasn't expecting the men from the homeless shelter to utilize it. And some of them turn it into their beds at night. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, understood.
Thank you, Irene and Curtis. Any questions for them? Any other questions? Okay, in that case, we want to open the floor for comments or concerns from anyone in this meeting about any issues related to the garden or BQLT. We have about like 13 minutes to discuss, and then we can end the meeting.
Hazel here. I was wondering what we can do to have more members attend operation meetings, since we have at least 36 gardens. Where the membership? What can we do to increase it?
That's a good question.
I am tired showing up here by myself. I need to meet other gardeners.
I totally agree. I have a couple of ideas, but I would like to hear from other people first and see if there are any new ideas that we can use now.
This is Ijeoma from RTV. I feel like Iola just told me about the operations meetings. I mean, I didn't really know about it before. So maybe just telling people about it and kind of explaining what it is, because you know, I'm not part of like the board of BQLT. I didn't know anything about any of this stuff. So I just, like, as soon as someone told me about it, and then when it was, you know, I tried to make myself available so I could actually attend the meetings. But I mean, as far as I know, the only thing I could do is tell people to come. But yeah, if they show up, they show up.
No, thank you, Ijeoma. Yeah, that's definitely something that we should be doing, asking people to come to these meetings. And I know exactly how you feel, because it took me like 3 years being at Kew Gardens to even realize that BQLT existed. So it's something that is not out there yet. Like not enough, I guess, force so everyone knows that we exist and what we do. Ashley.
Yeah, so I'm curious, now that gardening season has started, I mean, that seems like an obvious reason that people don't want to be on a meeting at this time on a Saturday. So until these meetings go back in gardens, which does make sense in person to be on a Saturday, because that's when people can get there, maybe it could be a weeknight, you know, at 6 or something. Because if they're going to be online, this is just not the time that people want to take out of their Saturday mornings when they'd rather be in the garden.
True. Actually, we are planning to have our June meeting in a garden. And now we also have heard from people, for instance, if you're trying to say something, you're muted. Okay. But we also have had people saying that they like the Zoom format because they can easily attend the meeting. So in planning this meeting, we were thinking of a possibility of meeting in the garden, but also having somebody with like phone or something like that, and having Wi-Fi to have a Zoom meeting in a way, and then convey questions from people who are in the Zoom session, but having the meeting in person. Because yeah, now that the weather is beautiful, why be here when we can be in the garden? So I think it is going to be great to have meetings at a garden, and then we can have, so long as the gardens are big enough. Because for instance, Kew Gardens is tiny, so I wouldn't have a meeting there, at least yet, because of the pandemic. But so long as the garden is big enough, we can have kind of a touring monthly meeting, and then be able to meet at different places, and so people can get to know different gardens. But yeah, definitely meeting in a garden is going to be our priority for the June meeting.
Yeah, June.
But could you please keep the Zoom option or like a call-in option? Because for me, it's not necessarily you know, it's easier because it's on Zoom for me, because I can, you know, do it, because, you know, sometimes traveling, depending on where you have to go to the garden, that could be quite a bit of time, and then to like come back and have to do other things. But we've also, even for our monthly meetings, we started giving like a call-in option, because people claim they wanted it. Not that anyone ever called in, I was just gonna say, but you know, we still keep the option. But I think it does help to still have the Zoom meeting, because it's more convenient.
And we do want to keep it, because that was raised, and we're figuring out the logistics. So June is going to be our experiment, on that regard, because definitely Zoom is something that is a blessing and a curse at the same time. And the blessing part is that we can definitely reach a lot of people that wouldn't be physically at the meeting anyway. So if we can have the incentive of meeting physically in the garden, especially if it is a beautiful day, and then the convenience of people who cannot make it to be on Zoom, we want those two sides of the equation being there. Yes.
Yeah, June 5th is the next meeting, and we talked about meeting in a garden, right?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
And we mentioned a candidate, but I don't know if we have talked to the people in the garden about that. Can I mention the garden?
Hazel, what do you
We would
think?
like to nominate 1100 Bergen for a meeting.
All right.
Okay, I guess that's a yes.
Welcome.
That sounds great.
Thank you. So that's a yes. Excellent. Thank you.
Being that our elected president is part of Bergen Street, why not?
Yeah.
He doesn't have anything to do with it, Princess.
Okay. Yeah, this was not my idea, but I love it.
Even insisted.
Okay.
And 1100 Bergen is close to at least 3 other gardens anyway, so they can come and visit.
And it's close to transportation. It's a good transportation hub. Like, yeah, if people need to take transportation to get there too.
Thank you, Princess. You're a good PR.
I know that the gardens are far and wide though, and I hope to hold an operations meeting one day in somewhere like McIntosh and all over the 2 boroughs. So
yes,
but it's very heartening to know that we have this option on the horizon after the pandemic.
Yeah, you know,
out of it.
One of the gardens I would love us to get more involved in is Renaissance Garden
on St. John's.
Yeah, because that gardens behave like. No, let me take that back. Sometimes I don't feel it's part of BQLT.
They do their own thing a lot of the time, yeah, with the
so I think we need to have operation meeting so the community can know it's a BQLT garden and it's not an entity that operates on its own or by itself.
Right.
Yeah. I know because I was a member there and they don't encourage people to join.
Yeah, we know about Renaissance.
Yeah. So I think we need to do some operation meeting there too. Guilty. I know because I've been a member there for a while when they just started. So I know.
Okay. I have a question about or I would love to hear people's opinions on the matter of attracting more people to these monthly meetings. And I think that the agendas, from my experience, have expanded to be really dynamic. I mean, they've always been that way and really interesting, but now we have these sort of like virtual garden tours in a way, and we talk about updates from across the entire organization. And so I'm not sure if the term operations necessarily defines the entire meeting. In some way, it's just a monthly BQLT meeting for all the gardeners to come together and share experiences, talk about the operations of their gardens, but also just talk about the organization more broadly. I wonder if the term operations, maybe some people are like, oh, well, I don't have specific knowledge about the mechanics or how to repair things in a garden. So I maybe wouldn't belong in that meeting. Whereas if they knew that like, oh, it's an opportunity to just have a monthly hello with their fellow gardeners, then, and it's about connecting as well as talking about improving the physical spaces and working through problems, then maybe that would open up people's eyes for what makes these meetings really fulfilling.
Yeah, the rebranding of the meeting is also on the table. We mentioned it, and there are opinions for and against the rebranding.
Right,
and that's something that we
have to have an operations meeting too.
Yeah, and we would like to bring that to the table and have a further discussion, because if rebranding helps, then we should do it. If it doesn't, then we shouldn't do it, because we have both positions and both opinions. So, but yeah, I hopefully we'll find a way. I mean, I want to hear more ideas, even though we have very little time right now, but it's something that we should keep in mind as a possibility in the future.
This is Magella. I just wanted to mention that one of the things from the operations committee, I'm thinking of looking into is making sure that we have accurate, up-to-date email addresses for all the reps and the gardens, because every so often, every year, you know, the committee changes and stuff, and sometimes we're sending emails to people who no longer part of it or whatever. So as part of the operating committee, I'm gonna try to work on that.
Yeah, that is really a good point. The other thing is that we need more than 2 people from a garden. Like Ijeoma mentioned, if we just reach out to the representatives and the alternates, the rest of the garden doesn't find out that they can be on this meeting. So expanding how many people we have from a garden would help. And
if gardens could share their mailing lists with us,
yeah,
then we
if
could.
if gardens would like to, that would be, you know, would be fine.
Well, I think it all depends on the gardeners, because for every mail I receive, I send it out to all my gardeners. So it's up to them really to respond to meetings, because every meeting, regardless of what meeting it is, I send it out. I don't know if Stephen gets it, if he could attest to that, but I do send out everything that comes to me.
Yeah, that would be the best if people did that. Absolutely. Yeah.
Excellent. So I just want to acknowledge that it is 11:29 and our commitment usually is to finish by 11:30. And I know that we went half an hour short this time because of the technical issues. Is there anything, any closing remarks that people want to make before we end the session? Ashley?
Yeah, I just wanted to remind folks that June 5th is also the Green Thumb Open Garden Day.
Oh, that's even.
I thought the 20th.
I don't know. I had it down as, I could be wrong, but that's the date I had. So
That is really wonderful because we meet
Yeah.
in the garden.
Yeah, we can use it as leverage and connect both events.
Yeah, that
Green
would,
Thumb
Thank
sent
you.
it out. So she's correct. It was sent out by Green Thumb.
Thank you very much, Ashley. That's awesome information. We can use that definitely.
yeah, that is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things I hear we were talking about branding. I was just thinking about gardener meeting and sharing / operation meeting. Because for a monthly meeting, because that's where we actually meet and share ideas, but still along we still keep the name operation in between that.
Mhm.
I'm just
that's a great suggestion, and we'll keep on taking suggestions.
Yeah.
And because we want to make that part of the discussion, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
definitely something we cannot decide in
Yeah.
on a whim, but that's definitely an idea. Yes. Okay, so it's 11:31 now. I would like to end the session. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for being patient, and we'll see you on June 5th or before that.
All right.
June 5th in 1100.
Yes. 1100 Bergen.
Hi, everyone.
Hazel,
Yeah.
are you having goodies there for us too?
The pandemic is on, no goodies.
No, don't even use
What
that.
if we're vaccinated?
Everybody must have the second shot to come to meeting. Bye.
Hazel, your
Yeah.
garden, the restaurant next to your garden is still open.
Everybody
During the
come with,
pandemic.
everybody come hungry. I'll feed. Bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.